Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gerard, Witch of Earth's Curious Goods, and today I'm going to show you a spell to win in court. So, if this sounds interesting to you, keep on watching, and without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so today's spell is about how to win in court. This is more for the justice system. Now, I'm going to stop you right there. If you think that this video is for you to escape justice or to somehow get out of serving time because of some bad deed that you did, that's not what this spell can do. Just because it's going to be utilizing the spirits of justice, and since they are entwined with justice and kind of making sure that justice is being served, it's going to be really hard to trick them. So if that is your thinking, that maybe this video isn't for you. But if you've ever been in a situation where you got a speeding ticket and it was an actual emergency, you were trying to make it on time to that job interview, that if you were late you were going to miss that job, or so forth, something that you just know that justice was not served in your best interests, that justice wasn't on your side. So maybe when you go to court, you would like that judge to be a little bit more sweetened towards you, shall I say, or a little bit more in your favor, or understanding, empathy in your situation, then that's what this spell is for. It's to give you that little edge in the justice system so the spirits can be on your side, so that you can be heard and that your case will be favored in the justice system and with whoever, whatever judge is presiding over your case. So if you've ever been in that situation where you wish that did occur, or maybe you wish that they could have heard you a little bit better so that that ticket could be thrown out, maybe, then this spell was made for you. So let's begin. So I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer so you can kind of see the table. So it's hand puppet time. All right, so just stay right there. I promise I'll bring you right back. All right, so we're gonna need a few things. You're going to need a brown piece of paper. If you don't have a brown piece of paper, white paper will do, lined paper will do. Make the magic your own. You're gonna need something to hold a candle or a heat-proof safe dish. You're gonna need a white candle. You can also use yellow or brown or green, but make the magic your own. Optional is going to be Crown of Success oil. Not needed. I like to always do anything to do with justice by doing Crown of Success oil, or if you have road opener oil or success oil, those types of oils, or anointing oil if you have that as well. If you don't have any of those oils and you still want to anoint your candle, just use olive oil. Can't go wrong with that. You're going to need some honey. If you don't have honey, you can also use maple syrup. It's something sweet. You can even use sugar water. That works okay, but an alternative. You're going to need some mugwort, some calamus root, lavender, and cinnamon. Now, cinnamon is optional, and I'll go over why each one of these things are important, but cinnamon is optional, and I'll tell you in just a second. You're going to need something to inscribe the candle with. I like to use a wooden toothpick. And you're going to need a permanent marker. I like to use black. If you've seen my previous videos, all of you already know why I love a permanent marker. All right, so let's go over mugwort. The reason why I recommend having mugwort, and the three that I'm using, this is based on my own experience, but these three combinations of herbs really does wonders, and I'll tell you why in just a sec. Mugwort connected to psychic awareness, psychic power, spirituality. It has the power to basically link you, your unconscious, subconscious, the divine, the spiritual side, the spiritual realm, you name it. It just helps bridge that gap, and that's why I would highly recommend mugwort. At least in my experience, that's kind of what it does. Calamus root, highly recommend it. You guys have seen some of my previous videos, but calamus root helps with domination. It helps you control a situation. So right now we're trying to do a to win in court spell, right? So we need to dominate that court system, to dominate that courtroom, to dominate the situation. Highly recommend calamus root. And then lavender. I love lavender, and if you guys have heard me in my previous videos, you know I have a love-hate relationship with lavender. I love lavender for all of its properties though, but there are different types of lavenders and different smells, but lavender altogether, the lavender I would recommend is because of luck. It brings in that calming, tranquil effect, right? We want everyone to be open-minded. We want the communication to flow. We want luck on our side. It adds a little bit of protection as well, so it helps with any kind of interferences with your spell work. So I would recommend it. And last but not least is cinnamon. This is why I say cinnamon is optional. The reason why I say that you don't really need cinnamon in this is cinnamon, I would add this to it, and why I would recommend you using it is just it adds speed and fire to the spell. Let's just say that your court date isn't until next year, then maybe you can kind of leave out the cinnamon, but let's just say your court date is next week. You want this spell to happen as soon as possible. So add some speed to the spell, add the fire element, and cinnamon in general is just known to give speed to spells. Another alternative is nutmeg if you don't have cinnamon, but cinnamon does wonders for speed. It has always been used throughout time as such. Not to mention it helps with, you know, prosperity and abundance and money, especially if your court case has anything to do with money. I would highly recommend to use cinnamon. All right, so we're going to begin. First you're going to need to do is grab your piece of paper, okay? And on your piece of paper, you are going to write your first and last name 3 times. So I'm just putting John Doe, John Doe, and John Doe. Okay? So got it 3 times, okay? Don't take up the whole paper, because at the top portion here, right above your name, you're gonna have to write the situation of your case, okay? So let's just say I got a ticket for speeding. We're just gonna say that. So I would like my speeding ticket, let's just say speeding ticket, to be thrown out of court. Okay, and it could be other things. Maybe you just know that you're gonna you're definitely guilty of that ticket. You are guilty. There was no real reason for you for speeding. Then maybe you could say, I would like my speeding ticket to be reduced to the lowest amount possible, or within my budget, or what I can afford. Okay, so keep in mind, we're dealing with the spirits of justice. You cannot lie. You can't hide things from them. They're spirits, for goodness sake. So just know that your intention is super important. They will know if your intention is true or false. So don't try to lie. Please don't try. I've messed with this spell many different ways, and it doesn't turn out well if you try to lie. Trust me, just be truthful, be honest with yourself. If you deserve the speeding ticket, but maybe, you know, at that time you've learned your lesson, you know you're not going to be doing that anymore, then just say that I would like my speeding ticket to be reduced. So just put your intention in there, what I can afford within the budget, like I just said. Okay, so it should look like that. So you've got your first and last name 3 times. Right above it is your statement, right? Because it is on to your name, so above your name. This is what is on top of you. This is what is above your name at the moment. This is kind of what's taking up some of your energy mind-wise, okay? Next thing we're going to do is you're in the middle. So like, let me show you. You have your name here. There's a gap and then your statement. So if you want to write closer up to the top, so there's a gap, but you definitely want to leave a gap right here because we are going to do a T with, it looks like a T, basically you're making scales, but I'm not good at drawing scales, so I just always like to do a T, and it has these little lines going on. Hopefully that comes through with the camera, but hopefully you guys can see that. So it looks like a T. But if you can draw scales, bless you, you are an artist. But I noticed I just was not good at it. And plus, you got to make the magic your own. It needs to resonate with you. So if I try to draw scales and I'm just not good at it, I'm going to overthink my magic. And I'm just going to be like, oh, is it going to work because that picture doesn't look like scales? The T looks like scales for me, and I can see the scales in my head. So it's like the symbol for Libra. You see the scales, so the scales of justice. In Egyptian times, they would weigh your heart against a feather, that kind of feel, okay? So scales, right? And we want to tip the scales in your favor. So that's why we're putting it in between your name and your situation or your case, right? So now we're going to tip the scales in your favor, and we're going to fold it. So you're going to fold it towards yourself. Turn it clockwise, fold it towards yourself. Turn it clockwise, fold it towards yourself. Okay? So that should have been like 3 times. All right. And this is where your candle is going to come into play. All right? So on the candle, you are going to write your name, first and last name on there. So I'm just going to do John Doe. You guys remember my joke with John Doe, but here we go, John Doe again being used. So I'm about to help John Doe out in court. If your name is John Doe out there in the world, you're about to get some luck. So now you've got your candle, you're inscribing it. I forgot to tell you, when you're inscribing your candle, put your first and last name going up, right? We want to invoke. Totally forgot about that, but just put your first and last name going upwards towards the wick. So John Doe. All right, now comes to the anointing part, because we want to put your intention. If you don't have any oil, all you're going to do is just hold it, and you're going to put all your emotion into it. What are you feeling? How do you feel about having to go to court? What are the results that you're going to want to get out of this spell? What does it look like? How do you feel now that your ticket was thrown out, or that the case was in your favor, or the adoption went through, or your name change went through, the divorce went through, what have you? Whatever your court case is, how does it feel to have those results in your favor, that the scales have tipped in your favor? See those scales tip in your favor. Tell yourself that the scales are tipping in your favor. Say it out loud if you have to. You can omit that part if you're going to be doing the anointing, because you can do all that part during the anointing. And I have Crown of Success oil. Obviously, I'm not doing this spell, but I always like to put a little into my hands. I activate it, and then I just put it onto the candle. I anoint the candle going upwards towards the wick, right? Because we're bringing in, we're invoking, we're calling in the spirits of justice. Perfect. Call the energy to you. All right. Put it onto the candle holder. So there we are. It's on top. Now, we're just going to leave it there. We're going to take the herbs, and I'm going to sprinkle this. Obviously, I'm not doing the spell, so I'm not going to use a lot because I don't want to waste, but you're going to go in a clockwise motion around it, right? I'm going to put the energy of mugwort into the spell. We're going to take our calamus root, and we're just going to once again go clockwise around, because we're going to add the power of domination of this calamus root, right? Tipping the scales in our favor. Now we're just going to take the lavender, also going in a clockwise motion to bring luck, right? The calming agent, we want everyone to be open-minded to hear us, to communicate. Add an air of protection as well. And then last but not least is the cinnamon. We're gonna sprinkle that into a circle clockwise, right, around the candle. Here we go, like I said, and you, if I was doing this spell though, I would definitely put a lot more so you can really see the circle. But right now, like I said, I'm not doing the spell, so there's no reason for me to really put a lot of herbs because I don't want to waste my herbs. You never know when I might need the spell. All right, and then you're gonna grab your honey. If you don't have honey, you can use syrup. If you don't have syrup, you can use sugar water. And of course, you're gonna go into a circle around the candle. Make sure when you're doing the honey that you do connect it so it's a closed circle around it. So it should look something like this. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me do it slowly. All right. Witchcraft is messy. That's when you know you're doing a very intense spell because it's messy. At least that's my motto. All right. Now that you have this, we need to call in the spirits of justice. So, concentrating, right? We're about to call them in. All right, so just keep in mind, we are now invoking the spirits. Feel how justice will be served to you. See the scales tipping in your favor. All right, we're gonna light the wick. And as the candle's burning, stare into the flame, concentrate. Make sure that your mind is calm, and now let us invoke them. Say this 3 times while staring into the flame. Spirits of justice, let your light on me not waver. Grant to my case your judgment in favor. Spirits of justice, let your light on me not waver. Grant to my case your judgment in favor. Spirits of justice, let your light on me not waver. Grant to my case your judgment in favor. Take a moment, just breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. So mote it be. All right, and now let the candle burn down completely, okay? We want the candle, so obviously don't leave it unattended. Fires do happen, and the element of fire does not discriminate. It will burn your house down, burn everything down, and you will wonder what happened. But with this, just let it burn down completely while you watch it. You see the paper underneath it. After it's burnt down, if the paper is perfectly fine, if it burns down though, if your candle burns down and your paper burns with it, you're gonna need to redo the spell because that means the spirits of justice are not in your favor and you could try again. But if the paper is intact, that when the candle burnt down and it's not all burnt up and sent to a flame and it's not in ashes, then, and I'm just going to lift this up really quick. Let's just say the candle burned all the way down. You're just gonna carry this paper on you to court, okay? Now listen to me carefully. When I say carry it with you, it needs to be touching your skin, not in your pocket. It has to be touching your skin. So figure out a way. For me, I just had it in my shoe. Like me, I'm right-handed, so it was in my right shoe inside of my sock. But this needs to be touching you, okay? So the spirits of justice can kind of basically connect to you. You're basically tag locking this. This is gonna be well connected to the other realm and yourself. So it's sort of channeling, right? But this needs to touch you. If, you know, maybe you can put this in your bra, or, you know, maybe put it on your waist, on your belt. But like I said, I just put it in my sock and my shoe. It's out of the way, it's under my foot. It also reminds me that my spell is in place, so I love that part. But just keep that in mind. After, let's just say, after the court is done, you're finished. Don't forget to give thanks. I always burn the paper giving thanks, and then I'll bury the ashes or blow it into the wind, giving thanks to the spirits of justice. As far as the remnants, any like candle, the herbs, all this, you could just go ahead and just throw this away in the trash. You know, just dispose of your ingredients as usual, giving thanks, of course. Well, I hope you liked today's video. I hope this video can help you in your court cases and help you get some wins. And you liking, subscribing, commenting are just free ways that you can help my channel, because it lets the algorithm know that you like today's video. So it's going to be pushed out to others that might need this spell in their court cases. And I want to particularly thank my channel members, because of course they're helping to make this channel keep going. And in particular, the Mushroom Lady, Susan Pfeiffer, and Skinny Gal 269. Thank you guys so much. And to you, my earthy people, as always, stay earthy, stay magical, and until the next video, bye for now.